I want to share something because it's very heavily on my mind. And I think it's very important because this is kind of something that's always just irked me in the past with clients and just people in general, and just things that I've observed as a coach and as an individual when it comes to seeing other people held back by just codependent factors. But I was listening to the Free Birth podcast again yesterday at work, and the episode was with Marianne Hirth, and I can't place how I know her, but I know she's in my circle somehow. I know I've heard her story before because I'm like, I remember the story, but this was a new episode, so I know it's not something I've heard before. And her partner facilitates men work, so maybe it's them that I know. I don't know, but I know that in a bigger space, I know they're part of my network somehow, and I've got to figure that out. But I digress. She was talking about a variety of different things, mainly her 3 free births, but this episode was touching base on things like sovereign citizenship and a bunch of different really radical ideas. If you don't already know, I am a radical. I am a rebel. So if this isn't something you want to hear about, you might want to move along because I'm coming back to all that stuff. As I kind of reclaim who I have been, and just, we're not getting into that right now. Anyway, she was talking about at the end, what it is that she does. So part of her newer coaching program that she's bringing out is this container, mostly for women, but her whole thing is educating women in stepping into that mothering phase from maidenhood and that personal autonomy and just the bigger things in terms of motherhood, just what does birthing look like on that biological scale, which everybody honestly should be educated about, and I totally wholeheartedly agreed with all of that, deeply resonated. But this whole idea of that transition phase, because that is something that I've seen a lot of, and I think a lot of people get stuck in, especially anybody who becomes a parent really young, or has a really strong codependent relationship with their parents. And this idea kind of comes down to kind of that weird phase of growing up where you're an adult now, but the relationship between parent and adult child, the lines kind of get blurred, and parents have a really hard time of letting go of that control over their children's lives and seeing them as an autonomous adult. So it's stepping into that energy of, I am an autonomous adult, you can't tell me what to do, having that power and authority within yourself and not being fearful of external authority figures, right? Whether that be your parents or authority figures in society, or even medical, especially with medical, because you are hiring the doctor is not an authority, and things like that. And those spaces where we're put into that child energy and that victim energy, and really understanding that you are the autonomous adult here. But back to the whole parenting side, for me it really brought back up again the scripture about how a father or a man will leave his father and his mother and he will stick to his wife. There is a point in your maturation where you have to understand that you are the adult. You are stepping into a whole new role, a whole new phase of life. If you're masculine, you are the leader of your partnership. And that masculine, feminine role, whether it's a same-sex relationship or not, there is that responsibility, right? And it's being in that role and knowing that as an adult you have to move in a certain way. As a leader, you have to move a certain way. In a partnership, you have to move a certain way. Your partner comes before anybody else. First yourself, then your partner, and then adding children into that dynamic, it becomes a whole other thing. because now you're a mother or a father, right? You are the one having to parent that child, and a lot of times we see where parents are still stuck in this child phase, so they don't have the authority, the healthy authority over their children, right? So they have a really hard time setting boundaries and routines and various things with their children, and they feel very disempowered, and they're like, I don't know what to do. And it's like, you need to step into your autonomous adult energy and be boss, right? From that loving leadership. And I really just kind of pulled back out that perspective for me and being like, oh my God, yes, and reaffirming for me like what my role is, and you know, how I'm continuing to step into my soul's purpose and what that looks like. Because it's very much the same in what Marianne was saying, in bringing people out of that childlike energy and into that autonomous adult. Because unless you allow yourself to get to that maturation point and you can be in that healthy, safe, secure within yourself, you're always going to be looking to the external, whether it be putting your partner up on a pedestal and, you know, treating them like that parent energy, which is a wound from your inner child and your relationship with your parents. So there is just so much there, and we don't take into account just how interconnected all of those little bits of trauma are. And these are all things that I've been through so many times in so many ways, both within my relationship with my parents, with my co-parent and my ex-husband, with my own child, and the different phases that we've had to go through, and the control and the things with my in-laws and them overstepping and me not feeling like an adult or a parent to my own child because they were overstepping boundaries. And all of those things have been a hell of a journey to really set those boundaries and to have others come to those points of awareness as well, in turn being like, okay, yeah, you are the parent, I'm not the parent. But that is just been a lot of letting go as well. And yeah, it's just, I know how hard that journey is, but it starts with recognizing and understanding that you are an autonomous adult and that you have to stop putting yourself back into that victim mentality, into that childlike energy, because if you continue to do that, you're just going to continue to live out those self-sabotaging cycles, those codependent cycles, and it doesn't feel good. It feels very disempowering. And truly the only way that you're going to come out of that, not only is it healing those cycles, it's stepping into that inner authority and understanding where you are in that phase of life, and understanding that, hey, I am the adult now. I am the husband, the wife, the mother, the partner, whatever. Or if you're trying to enter that phase, you have to embody that energy before you even get there. But a lot of the times, a lot of us are either thrown into parenthood, or we're in these in-between phases where we're trying to, you know, figure out what our role is. Are we a daughter, a wife, a mother? Like, all of those things. And it's being able to understand all those multifaceted aspects of self, right? But to stand in your authority in each of those roles, and to be able to step in and out of them, right? And redefining that adult child parent relationship, which is so hard. The fact that this is coming, you know, so strong back to my awareness means that it's something that needs to be talked about. It means that it's something that's coming to the surface for a reason. So take some time to assess where you have been feeling disempowered in your life, and ask yourself if you've been showing up in that wounded inner child energy. Have you stepped into your autonomous adult? Have you stepped into that leader provider role? Have you stepped into that nurturing mother role? Is that something you desire to be in? Because if so, you need to look at where that energy is being taken from you so that you can take it back and step fully into that role. That's the only way that you are going to gain back that power and that authority, and be able to have that co-creative positive energy where you are creating the life you want, creating the family you want, based on your personal values, and having a strong sense of boundaries and healing those attachments. And I'm aware that it's a lot of work. But I'm going to assume that if you are here in this space and you're continuing to watch me and things that I'm saying are resonating with you, that you are aware of this on some kind of subconscious level, that you desire to grow and be that person, to have that sense of personal power and authority over your own person, and to really step into who you are and to create the life that you want, to do the thing that your soul is asking you to do and how you're meant to show up. Right? So reflect on that today, because it may have a bigger weight in being what is blocking you from being able to tangibly create the life that you want. But know that underneath the surface, that's what all of this is, right? First you, then your partnerships, then your family, then the collective, all right?